Yeah.
Only 2 weeks before the first game.
Yeah. Brandon Bostic. Oh.
Did you see the article he did on SI though? Yeah, it was me, but I'm still here article. It was really good.
Still kills me. There he is. The man who's getting it all done. Okay.
I don't know if I've gotten anything done today.
I know. I kind of know the feeling. Kind of feel like you're just bicycling hard and not getting anywhere.
Oh, man.
Let's see. Did you have any injuries today?
That one kid, I think, got a concussion today.
Okay.
But, I'm still waiting to hear from him.
Yeah.
Other than that, typical bumps and bruises. We haven't had anything major in camp, which is a little unusual.
Yeah, that's good.
Can we check and make
Hey,
sure we can hear Coach Knight so we don't have an issue like we did the other night?
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm with you.
There we go. Sounds
Do you
good.
hear Coach Knight? Yeah, that was the strangest thing in the world. I don't know what that was all about last week.
What you talking about?
Well, we were. I was down at Charleston. I did the Citadel on Thursday night, and then Friday night I was over at the Brigadier Club golf tournament, the Kickoff Classic. I was doing my show from there, from Patriots Point, and I had Coach Duggar Balkum, the new basketball coach, on, and just like we're set up here, and they couldn't hear him. And, they could hear me,
Right.
couldn't hear him. And I'm thinking, the one thing I can think of, he talks very quietly. And I just don't know if maybe he didn't do it.
It's not like basketball.
I know. All right, back we are at Newberry College as the Wolves were out practicing this afternoon. They're a little bit behind everybody else in terms of the number of practices because they are a little bit later starting with school. I think students are now here and classes are getting underway, and they're at it full bore. Had a scrimmage on Saturday and back at it in full pads today. Coach Todd Knight joins us here on the Palmetto Pigskin Tour. Good to see you once again, sir.
Thank you, my friend. It's good to see you too. I appreciate you coming up today.
Oh, always a pleasure. How was y'all's day today?
One thing we really needed today, and we got it. It was hot.
Mm-hmm.
It hadn't really been very hot up here throughout the entire camp. It's been that's kind of scary, for it not to be hot. It's been mild, but I know it's coming. It's coming back. That first ball game here, it's probably going to be smoking, and we need it for the kids to get acclimated to it. And you could see it a little bit today. Because it was the first really, really good hot day we've had, and we got after each other. It didn't deter us from the physical play today, but you could see it a little bit toward the end of practice.
Have you been happy with how your guys came back from camp, their overall conditioning, and the way they've sort of picked things up here?
Really have. We brought 180 to camp, Phil. That's
180.
That's a ridiculous number. It really is. We might be the smallest college in the country that plays football with the biggest team.
Yeah, really.
But
why so many?
It's just I think it speaks volumes about the way football is approached here in the state of South Carolina. A lot of kids want to play, and we give them that opportunity. And I'm
do you not turn anybody
I'm
away?
happy to work. We do. We really do. And you would think that we're just opening the floodgates and letting them in, but we have been selective with the 180, and we've got a couple more that want to come out when school starts and that kind of thing. And it's a logistical nightmare at times. You have to get very creative at practice to keep things flowing and keep 180 guys moving. But there does come a point in practice, once you've been through 8 or 9 days, and you really have to kind of whittle it down and say, okay, we're ready to say, this is the crowd we're going to work with. This is the crowd we're going to put on the bus, and everybody else, we're going to put you on the shelf for a year. And your role for the team's changed a little bit. And, keep them motivated to give us a good look every day at practice and keep us ready for the upcoming opponent.
So how many can you dress in a typical South Atlantic Conference game?
Well, I think
at home
you could probably dress as many jerseys as you have, but I mean, we're going to dress close to 100 at home.
Really?
Now on the road, we'll probably take 75, somewhere like that.
Wow. Wow, that's a big travel squad. Raleigh Yeldell was in here with us earlier, and he seems like a kid who's very confident about what he can do, and he sounds like a guy who has a complete feel for the offense and knows what he wants to do when he needs to do it.
That kid's grown up here with us, really.
Mm-hmm.
And he's ready. He's had some great games. He's won some ball games for us here. The year we went to the playoffs, he was young, but he took snaps for us and came in kind of a wildcat kind of guy. And he's matured and grown into a dual threat quarterback, not just a wildcat package for him. This kid can make all the throws. He's smart. He's got a great football mind. He's not as physical or as big as you would like to see your quarterback, and that's kind of been a problem with him last year, keeping him healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the offseason, the kid worked really hard. He put on some good muscle. He looks good, but he's not the 6'3", 6'4" guy, but he's lightning now. He's one of those kids, when everything goes bad, nothing works, he can fix it. Fix it with his arm, fix it with his legs. He can beat you when everything breaks down.
The Carson Newman game last year, when he went in and really lit a fire under everybody offensively, did that kind of show you the skills that he has and how effective he can be in this offense?
Well, we had seen flashes of it, and we had hoped that was what we were going to get from him last year. But again, we couldn't keep him healthy. We finally got him back, and in that game, I think we scored 32 points in the first quarter, and he just exploded on Carson Newman. Carson Newman wasn't expecting it. I'm not sure I was expecting that.
Yeah.
But somewhere in the second quarter, right before halftime, the kid dives in the end zone. Nobody touches him. He dives in the end zone, lands on his head, and knocks himself out.
Knocked himself out.
So it was last year when that kid was healthy, we was really hot. But when he wasn't healthy, we was really cold.
So does it gives you I don't know, a new sense of excitement about your offense and what you guys might be able to do offensively?
It really does. We have a lot of confidence in Raleigh, but we've got a couple of guys behind him that we feel like can get it done. And we've worked with that crowd throughout spring ball. So I feel like we've got 3 guys that can get it done. Of course, Raleigh being a starter, and one guy that's will probably start for us at slot receiver, but also is going to take snaps at quarterback in every game. And then we got Zach Blair, is a solid kid. Big arm. He might not move quite as well as Raleigh does, but Zach is a prototype kind of quarterback. He is that big 6'3", 6'4" guy with a huge arm, and he's going to make a great coach one day. He's like a field general out there right now. And, I got all the confidence in the world in Zach as well.
Are you going to be doing everything from the shotgun and the spread with Raleigh?
I would say 90, 95%, yes. One back gun, wide open, sprinkling in Q runs and this kind of thing. You'll see just about anything and everything from us. We can go to one back. The next snap will probably be empty. Next time we may be in a double tight situation and an eye. We jump back and forth quite a bit. It's a nightmare for a defensive coordinator, actually, and our guys on offense do a really good job of utilizing the kids that we have out there and coaching them up where they can play multiple positions, and we can give you multiple sets and formations and basically run just about everything from different sets. And it's tough when you look at it from a defensive standpoint. It's hard to match up, to run the right personnel off and on because you don't really know what you're going to get.
All right, quickly to the defensive side. We had your senior linebacker with us, Taylor McConnell, and he's a good-looking kid, and I guess he's going to be the guy to sort of lead the defense and kind of be the guy that everybody will rally around and listen to?
There's no doubt about it. Taylor McDonald is a great kid, a great football player. Phil, he's got it honest. There's been some really good ball players in his family, throughout the years, and his older brother started for us here and was a heck of a super back for us on offense. And Taylor's really come into his own. He's had some good years. He's an all-conference kid. And from what I'm seeing right now, going into his senior season, if he's not an All-American, I don't know what one looks like.
So you're 2 years removed now from your 9-win team and going to the postseason. How close do you think this team is on paper to getting back to that point?
Well, on paper looks good, but you got to get out there and get it done, don't you?
Yeah.
I thought we had a team last year that had enough talent that we could get back in the playoffs, and through injury and to be quite honest, Phil, I don't think we played together last year, and I think that hurt us, and injuries hurt us, and that's been a big thing for us in camp. We've really tried to pull this crowd together. We put together all over the back of our T-shirts, and each coach is preaching it every day. And we're doing things at night in camp that really hadn't got anything to do with football. There's nothing to do with X's and O's. It's getting to know your teammate. It's building the relationships. It's getting to know, can we trust you? And do you care about this program? And are you committed to seeing this program be successful? And there's some really hard questions that we're putting kids up in front of the team. And you're not up there for 30 seconds. Hey, I'm Todd Knight. I'm from Lancaster, South Carolina. No, you're going to answer about a series of 15 to 20 questions in front of the team. And we're going to be honest. And we're going to get to know each other. And
do you sense that it's working?
Absolutely. I feel it. I see it. I think the coaching staff is working really well together. And the vibe, the kids are picking up on that vibe. And they're meshing and coming together. And Phil, I've been here a long time. I think I'm starting my 14th year here at Newberry, and this may be the best camp that I've ever been around here. The kids have a great attitude. They're working hard. They're pulling things together. They're practicing smart. The maturity level, you can see it. You got a kill shot, but you don't take it because that's your teammate.
Sure.
Let's take care of each other. We need everybody to win. And finally, I think it's sinking in.
We wish you the best of luck as always, and hopefully you'll be playing deep into November, into the playoffs and beyond, and we'll be watching closely to see how it goes for you.
Well, that's something to think about, but let's go 1-0 first.
There you go. Florida Tech first on the agenda.
Exactly.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend.
You got it, my man. Todd Knight here at Newberry.
See if the
Get your picture real quick.
See if the Hemingway walked in yet. She hasn't even showed up yet. If I can get my pants done, this will be a great.
Can I get you? How long are your
It's just the stuff Adidas sends you. They're about this long.
Yeah,
Okay.
they don't have them when I've got mine with some other lady. Same thing.
Josh,
You got your Newberry socks. See that?
no, we were going to get a picture.
You from my
That's why I've cut the hair.
Yeah. Good seeing you. How's your wife doing?
She's doing great.
Tell her I said, hey, I don't get to see him anymore.
I hate that.
I know. It's funny business. But I'm glad she's doing it. Hey, let's get David Shelton.
Gotcha.
I got you a picture of Coach Knight. Man, it's been crazy. Hadn't even had a chance to do the readers or anything. Whew.
All right, I'm gonna run. Text me if you need me. I'll be back in like 5 minutes.
Okay.
I hope there's a bug in the laundry room. Fiance's freaking out. Different world, man.
Yes.
I got him. You got about 10 seconds, Corn. Stand by.
Okay.
Check your text box.
Yeah. All right, thanks to Coach Todd Knight from Newberry for joining us here tonight on Sports Talk. Let's shift gears and talk some high school football, brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. With new auto insurance rates from Farm Bureau Insurance, you could be saving a whole lot of money, even if you've received a quote before. Rates are now more competitive than ever. Get a free quote today from your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. We welcome in David Shelton from the High School Sports Report and the Charleston Post and Courier as we take a look back at week 0. David, good to have you with us. And what stood out in your mind about the first Friday night of high school football?
Well, I think I think we saw some really exciting games, but I think we saw a lot of what we expected in a week 0 game, which was a lot of mistakes. It appeared the offenses were far ahead of the defenses. Big win by Burns over Northwestern. Obviously, that was the premier game of the night. Big comeback by Gaffney, down 28-7 Union County, and they scored 28 unanswered and hold them off at the end for a big win by Gaffney. Fort Dorchester gave up 40 points, but won by 20, which kind of tells you where their defense sits. But South Florence has got defensive issues as well. Both teams are going to be able to score points. I like both their offenses. But and you know, a big Class A game, what we thought was going to be a really competitive game. Bamberg Earhart kind of flexed their muscles pretty strongly and beat Wilson Elko fairly easily. So, you know, that's about what we expect in week 0, and we look forward to week 1, and everybody will be playing, and we'll have some good matchups.
No, absolutely. Speaking of impressive wins on the road, though it was at a neutral site, but it was in Columbia, what about the showing of Greenwood defeating Dutch Fork?
Yeah, well, you know, Greenwood is going to have a good. They're going to be able to control people for the most part. You know, Dutch Fork is still a work in progress offensively. They've had a lot of injuries to receivers, and just now starting to get some of those guys back. They've got a new quarterback. But, you know, Greenwood's legitimate. It wasn't a huge upset, to be honest with you. I thought Greenwood would have a pretty good shot because they do play defense. They got good athleticism, and their quarterback, Rashawn Jackson, had a really big game, went over 100 passing and 100 rushing, and really kind of outplayed Cole Douglas. But it was a really good win for Greenwood.
All right, very quickly, tell me about 2 other impressive winners, Westwood beating River Bluff and Westside over Clover.
Yeah, well, with Westwood, they're going to be tough to beat because they can run the football, and they didn't have their A guy, but their B guy ended up having about 140 yards rushing. So big offensive line. Their question is on defense, but they were obviously good enough to beat River Bluff, and then Westside, you know, notching their win, and you know, Westside and Lexington play this week, so that'll be a really good offensive showcase in week 1 between 2 teams that are going to really be able to move the football.
Yeah, that's going to pit, of course, Scott Early against his former team there at Lexington High School. All right, David, thank you very much, man. Good hearing from you, and we'll talk to you later in the week. All right, David Shelton from the High School Sports Report with us here on Sports Talk, and that is tonight's high school football report, a service of Farm Bureau Insurance. And when we get back to Sports Talk, we'll hear from Deshaun Watson up Clemson way. All right, State Man, if you go to the website, you got Deshaun Watson and got Tony Elliott in there.
Gotcha.
And then we'll do Mick at 45, and I'll do recruiting in the last segment.
Who did the Panthers have last?
Miami.
That's what I thought.
Let's run. We'll run a little bit of Tony Elliott first, and then we'll do Deshaun.
You know, in terms of the running game, just the consistency of.
So we'll start right there.
Yeah, the question was about the offensive line. So we'll run about 3 or 4 minutes of him, and then we'll run about 3 or 4 minutes of Deshaun.
You know.
He said if you didn't know any better, he would think you were a 5th or 6th-year senior out there with your football IQ. Are you just a 19-day difference between the time you came on campus last year as to how you are running things now?
I can probably so. I've learned a lot, especially having a time off for injury and being in.
Are you just a 19-day difference between the time you came on campus last year as to how you are running things now?
I can.
I remember I got to stream this off the bottom computer course. This might be a little difficult for me. We'll make it work, though.
Make it work, please.
I'm going to let you mute yourself this time.
That's what I always do.
Buy me 1 second to pop the music down before you go to Tony Elliott.
Yeah, I'm going to do a reader here.
All right, stand by.
Hey, we're back on Sports Talk in just a moment. We'll hear from a couple of the Clemson Tigers who met with the media today, Tony Elliott, Deshaun Watson, among others, and get their thoughts as they've kind of turned their full attention now towards Wofford. I want to remind you that whether you're a USC Gamecock or you happen to bleed Clemson Orange, all South Carolina college football fans, Newberry fans, PC fans, Furman, Citadel, all the fans can agree on Founders Federal Credit Union with a convenient location on USC's campus and a Clemson office coming soon. Founders is a sure fan favorite. Visit relaxjoinfounders.com to see if you qualify for membership. Again, the website is relaxjoinfounders.com. Today was, Clemson sort of getting into the regular season flow of things. They typically have press availability on Mondays for coordinators and some coordinators on the offensive side. Normally, Brent Venables normally goes on Tuesdays, and players as well. So today it was co-offensive coordinator Tony Elliott and several players sitting down with the media. And Tony Elliott was asked about the progress of the offensive line, how he sees that group getting ready for the upcoming season, and how he thinks they'll do in terms of what they've been asked to do in camp.
You know, in terms of the running game, just the consistency of identifying where we're trying to go and understanding the scheme overall of who we're trying to get blocked. And, Coach Venables in the defense, they do a great job of moving personnel and changing personnel, stemming and moving. And I thought they did a really good job of knowing what we're trying to get accomplished. And I think technically, Coach Caldwell's done a great job with those guys technically. And then I'll be questioned as a left tackle. You got Mitch Hyatt, who I think has really grown up over the course of camp. He's had the best defensive end in the country to block day in and day out, and Shaq hasn't taken any days off on him. So I think overall just the consistency of understanding the schemes. Technically, they've all gotten better, and then we feel pretty good about Mitch at left tackle. It's coming together, and Coach Caldwell's done a really good job of cross-training those guys. So we'll have for instance, you got a Taylor Hearn, who was a guy when we came into camp, we didn't think that he was going to be a guy that play on the edge very well, and he was given an opportunity, and he's impressed everybody within the program. And so when you have that ability to play guys at different spots, it helps you on that from a depth standpoint on that second team.
while you want to have Deshaun be a significant option at the run game, rather than having him as a focal point, puts the urgency level there and building a consistent, dependable run game.
Oh, no question. Anytime we call a run, first and foremost, we want to get it to the backs. But when you got a guy like Deshaun, he's going to create plays with his legs. Yeah. And we understand that. And really, it's what the defense gives us, the opportunities. They're going to provide opportunities where he's going to have to be, critical to the running game. Then there's going to be other situations where they're going to work to take the quarterback run away. And so then the back's got to pick up the slack. But the sense of urgency, I coach those guys, so I want them to touch it. I want them to be the workhorses and then give us the ability to really stress defenses when we do pull the ball down and let Deshaun run it.
You had a lot of circumstances last year where you had second and long, third and long, because you couldn't generate a dependable run game on first and second down. You feel that you've made the quantum step to absorb some of that long, second, third, long situation?
I think so. And I think just the quicker throwing game, that you saw a little bit of that in the bowl game with Cole Staff, something that helps us stay ahead of the chains. And a big emphasis for us is plus 4 yards on first down, whether it's a handoff or it's a pass. And so we're just looking at trying to gain 4 yards, being efficient on first and second down so we don't get in long yard situations. So yes, from a running standpoint, we feel like we made progress there. But then also from a passing game standpoint, we got to do things on first and 10 to mix it up so we don't have heavy tendencies, but also understanding and everybody buying into the fact that, hey, we got to have positive yards on first down.
Work? Is it you and Jeff equal? Are you close there with them, or do you just leave?
The quarterback position, obviously, you don't want too many voices in his head. And so I let Streeter do most of the talking. Now, there's going to be situations out on the field where I got to make a comment to Deshaun, but I usually go through Streeter because, again, he needs to hear that one voice. And then, obviously, Coach Sweeney is the big voice, so he can talk to him at any time. But I don't mess with Deshaun as much because, again, he does an unbelievable job of preparing. He's very smart. He takes pride in his work, but I let that relationship go through Coach Streeter.
Okay, Tony Elliott, the co-offensive coordinator for the Tigers. You heard him talking about Deshaun Watson, and everybody's going to be anxious to see how he looks coming back from the ACL injury and how confident he looks. Everything he has said and the way he's carried himself here in the preseason certainly indicates that he feels like he's totally recovered, both in terms of the physical side and the mental side. So Deshaun Watson also met with the media today and was talking about that very fact about getting back into the flow of things and being the complete quarterback and doing everything that he can do on the football field without thinking about the injury from last year.
Probably so. I've learned a lot, especially having a time off for injury and being in the film room and just having that coach's perspective from just being out and not being able to be on the field. So it's been great just to get talking to Coach Sweeney and seeing what he sees and try to think like him. So it's been I think I'm a lot better than what I have been before.
Do you as a quarterback, do you think most quarterbacks consider themselves a coach on the field, maybe at this level or the NFL, or is that something that's kind of really a different level for better quarterbacks?
My thoughts about that is just really to be able to play at the highest level and win the highest championships. You have to be a coach on the field, and the quarterback have to be the the leader, and have to think just like the head coach. And if you're able to do that, then the operation of the program will pretty much move smoothly.
What control do you have over changing the play line, scrimmage, changing protections, things like that?
I want to say a lot, but it just have to really based on week to week and what we go over. They give me a list of things that I can go and check to different versus different defenses. So it's just really just having that trust between the coaching staff and me, and just going out there and being able to play and execute.
How much have you improved pre-read, seeing what the defense is going to do for the staff?
Just each week or really each practice, just try to improve, on that. And that just comes with film study and, just being in there and being on the same page with the coaching staff.
You were given the opportunity, the ability to check out a play. And how comfortable are you doing it at this level?
Right now, I'm still learning. I'm still getting all the details down from, for the offense, and each week is, different. So, I'm gaining that trust and gaining, that leeway to be able to change and operate whenever I want to on the field.
Is there any page in the playbook that you're not familiar with?
Not at all. I know pretty much the whole playbook, and I know everything. The reason why that we run this play. So it's just really just having that, every little detail from, my position to the O line and why we do things.
How much time have you spent looking at opponents already this season, these defenses?
Every little time I get to, or I have the chance to look at, opponents, I try to. But during fall camp, we were focused on, Clemson and getting our, program situated, and now just on the Wofford, and then so far on.
Anybody you not looked at?
Just anyone really after probably the Louisville game. So from Notre Dame and on, I haven't looked at yet. Not recently. Probably in the spring, but not now because we're focused on Wofford, and and then we have App State and Louisville. So.
Okay, that's Clemson quarterback Deshaun Watson trying to give the old one game at a time approach. Wofford will be first up, then Appalachian State. The Tigers should have no trouble those first two games out, but then they go to Louisville on a Thursday night pro, and that is going to be a very big game for Clemson, the one that will probably define their entire season.
It'd be interesting to see if Louisville still has a pass rush after a couple of the linemen graduated last year.
All right, Mick here.
Yeah. Do they send you a piece of play-by-play?
Yeah, I'm trying to cut it now.
Why does everything seem like it's just a step behind tonight?
I couldn't do it there because I had to play the audio. He didn't say anything about calling him on a cell phone or anything, did he, Corn?
But I mean, that's where I communicate with him through his cell phone via text message. You trying to sell or the home? Call both of them. Got him?
Yep, calling him at home. Stand by.
Okay.
Throws over the middle, intercepted at the 30-yard line to the 25-20, right side 15, 10, 5, cutting into the end zone, touchdown Jamar Taylor, the cornerback out of Boise State, and the Dolphins go up by 3 touchdowns.
Wow, my goodness, what a clinic.
Yeah. You know, it's just typical Panthers preseason football. Fall behind, but find a way to win as we welcome in the voice of the Panthers, though he's on television in the preseason. That was not Mick on that particular call. We welcome in Mick Mixon, the radio voice of the Panthers. And I don't know, Mick, they're 2-0, but listening to some of the comments of the head coach and some of the players afterwards, they don't seem real happy with the way things went for them on Saturday night.
Oh, the sky's falling right down on top of our heads. I mean, anywhere on Twitter will tell you that. I think one thing we do know is that Joe Webb is better than E.J. Manuel, and Joe Webb is better than Josh Freeman. But other than that, you show well when it's good on good, and the Panthers just looked out of sorts, Corn. What did you think? I mean, it looked to me like Carolina had some camp legs, like we were operating in about a foot of beach sand. We couldn't get going. Too many penalties, drop passes, just didn't look right.
Yeah, it was a bad week all the way around when you think about it. You know, you lose Kelvin Benjamin, and I guess the one good thing is you did win the game, and that does give you something to kind of build on. But our first chance to talk to you since his injury, and did Cam look – not going to say look lost to you, but did he look to you like he was looking for Benjamin out there only not to find him?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, that may be a little metaphysical for a Monday night, but I kind of am going with what you're saying because the two of them have a relationship off the field. I mean, they're kind of buddies. They're roommates on the team charters. Kind of like losing not only a valuable teammate, one of your first options, but a really good friend as well. So I think there was some of that funk that Cam Newton was in, but got to work your way out of it, and you only got 8 more quarters to figure out how you're going to do it.
Yeah, this is true. What was your overall take of the team's performance then, from your vantage point in the booth?
My overall take is there were bright spots. This O-line, maybe the biggest single story of preseason so far, besides Kelvin Benjamin, has been this offensive line's ability to keep quarterbacks clean, not giving up sacks. Pass pro, blitz pickup has been very, very good. Need to work on blocking some holes in the run game. Buffalo's front 7, Miami's front 4, pretty salty. I think number 2, Cameron Artis-Payne might be the steal of the draft. He looks like the stage is not going to be too big for him. Number 3 has been the injuries on the defensive side. It's really hard to evaluate the defense without Charles Johnson, without KK Short, without Star Lotulelei. So I think even though Frank Alexander, I think the Panthers are going to be okay on D.
Nice to see former USC standout Damiere Byrd get some quality action in one way or another. 2 catches, 36 yards, an 18-yard touchdown catch, and 3 punt returns, averaging 6.7. What are the coaches saying about him?
Love him so far. Everybody knows he can run, but isn't it fascinating? 40 speed is a lot like your bench press. I mean, sometimes it translates, but other times it doesn't. You got guys that run fast, hand time, machine time, 40 electronic time, but then they don't play as fast. Demir Bird looks like he's got his speed up under him. He knows when to turn it on and when to remain under control. The key to it's going to be how does he do on special teams, because the coaches like him very much in a variety of ways. Was he a good receiver at South Carolina, Corn? Does he have good hands?
Yes, and I mean he progressed as his career went on. He's undersized even by college standards, but in the latter part of his career, he became that big play weapon for South Carolina, especially after Ace Sanders graduated. He sort of filled that void of being that deep threat.
Well, it's right there for him. I mean, the stage is set because the Panthers need what he can bring.
You mentioned Webb, and I mean another good performance by him. Actually, an outstanding performance. I know it came a lot in mop-up duty and against the Scrubinos, but 12 of 17, 131 yards, a touchdown. I mean, what do they do with him moving forward?
Oh, you got to keep him because he not only gives you some insurance at your trigger man spot, but he can make you a tackle. He can catch a pass. I mean, he's such a good athlete. He's that kind of throwback, play both ways guy. Joe Webb made several touchdown saving tackles on special teams last year just because of his sheer athleticism. He's much bigger than you think. He's not lean and willowy. He is powerfully built, very, very good athlete. So I think he makes the 53.
Okay, Mick, thank you, man. You got the Patriots coming to town on Friday. Should be another big crowd at Bank of America Stadium, and we'll talk to you next week.
Look forward to it, Phil. Thanks for your time, buddy.
Thank you, pal. All right, Mick Mixon, the voice of the Panthers, with us here on Sports Talk, and we'll come back. You know we're going to give you recruiting. That's coming up after the break. Okay.
I feel like I just ran a marathon tonight, Corn.
So, tell me about it. I feel like the first hour just never really happened. Such a blur.
Gatorade. Ice bath.
Oh, man.
Rub down from a model.
I just don't understand why the phone wouldn't connect. I guess it's not for us to understand. But you know what? We survived it. We have survived it.
Even cutting my opener for Megan and getting him on the right phone line and everything, it was like right up to the last second.
Doing what now?
Cutting Mick's opener and then getting him on the right line because he was at home. I mean, all that, I got up to like 2 seconds on the dot before we came back.
Yeah.
Because everything we've done has been right on the dot.
It's been crazy. Been crazy. Teddy Neal. Plus, I am exhausted. I had to do the afternoon casts. My voice sounds really puny tonight.
All right, stand by. Here's the final one. Let's wrap it up nice.
But I think we got everything in. All right, let's put a wrap on this, Bunny, with a recruiting report for you tonight. We begin with Richland Northeast linebacker T.J. Brunson, coming back from hip surgery, participated in 2 scrimmages this month, got the season opener coming up on Friday. He says he feels really, really well, and the hip feels fine. He just wants to show recruiters that he's 100% and ready to go. This is a guy that's made 237 tackles over the last 2 seasons. Notre Dame has started to show him some interest, contacted him about a week ago, and was told they like his film, and they're going to keep a watch on him. Of course, he is committed to Louisville right now, has been since mid-July, still considers himself committed, but he does want to see what else might come his way. He does plan officials to Louisville and Purdue. He does remain in touch with USC and hears from linebackers coach Kirk Botkin on a regular basis. He plans to take in USC home games against Kentucky, LSU, and Clemson. Defensive lineman David Marshall of Thomaston, Georgia, has Clemson down for an official visit. He also plans to visit Auburn, Ole Miss, Alabama, and Miami. He's a former Auburn commitment. Defensive back Tony Butler of Lakewood, Ohio, said he most likely will announce on October the 5th Clemson, Michigan, Arizona State, Rutgers, West Virginia, Minnesota, his short list. 2017 quarterback Chase Bryce of Loganville, Georgia, was at Clemson Saturday. USC 2017 quarterback target Jake Fromm visited Alabama on Saturday. Basketball, 6'8", a small forward, Bracken Hazen, Columbia City, Indiana, was at Clemson on Friday. He was at Maryland on Thursday. Had a real good visit to Clemson, really likes Brad Brownell and likes what they were telling him about how they would use him and how he would fit into their program. He's down to Clemson, Maryland, Central Florida, Valparaiso, and Ball State. He's been to each unofficially. His only official visit right now is Central Florida, September 3rd. He plans to set one with Maryland for October. Right now, he does not have a favorite, 13 points and 7 rebounds per game last season. As we mentioned earlier in the program, news over the weekend from Devontae Shuler is he is indeed leaving Irmo. He is going to Oak Hill Academy in Virginia. We had mentioned the possibility of a school in New York, but it's going to be Oak Hill Academy for him. And 3 officials are set by Durante Jenkins. Lake Marion native goes to Hargrave Prep in Virginia. VCU September 3rd, Tennessee September 11th, and Clemson October 3rd. And Clemson is showing interest in 2018 shooting guard 6'5" Reckon Black of Concord, North Carolina. And there you go with recruiting. Pro, final thoughts from you on this Monday night.
Well, last night they showed Marcus Mariota in his first preseason game at home. Tonight is Jameis Winston's turn in Tampa Bay against Cincinnati. So we'll see how they number 1 draft night.
Sounds good. Thanks to Josh Malk here at Newberry for helping us out, Coach Todd Knight and the players. And tomorrow night to the upstate we go. We'll be with the Furman Paladins on the Palmetto Pigskin Tour. Thank you, Steak Man. Everybody have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow night here on Sports Talk.